Let me check and see if it comes live. Oh, hey, what do you know? Ain't it go live? Oh, yeah, it's live. Yeah, man. Yep, it's live. All right, so let me go ahead and put out the tweet real quick. Uh, all right. Okay. All right. So the tweet has been sent. We are live. All right. All right. So what's going on, guys? Sorry for the technical delay. We were having some issues with OBS, I think it was. Um, but
Of
yeah, we're
course.
live. Yep. But yep, thank you everybody. Welcome back to the PlayStation Culture podcast. Um, this is the second time I'm doing this because the first time we did it, we thought we were live, but we weren't. Um, but either way, we have some great stuff to talk about. I think we have some good topics to talk about tonight. And I'm just going to quickly go through, some of the stuff that we're going to be talking about, the three topics that we have. The first one being Sony's marketing. And then the next one, we're going to talk about the struggles of being so number one, the market leader, and all of the little things, pros and cons for that. And then we're going to talk about just this little fun, little speculatory topic about whether or not we may see single player games more often trending or whatever the case. So, but yeah, with that being said, we have obviously me, and then we have over here Josh. So what have you been playing,
I've
my
been
guy? How's everything been going with you, man?
I've been trying to play Ghost of Tsushima. I'm not gonna lie to you. The art style makes me sleepy. It does. It literally makes me sleepy.
How does the art style make you sleepy?
Well, you know when you see when it's a cloudy day and you get tired?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. So that's what happens.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there and I'll see it be it's like really cloudy and I'm like, what the fuck? And then I get sleepy.
Honestly,
So
I
yeah.
personally I like the rain and stuff like that when it's cloudy and dark and I'm weird like that. As you can see, it's dark as shit in here, so it's always dark in here.
That dude's a fucking Scorpio.
Yeah, nocturnal man. I'm even wearing all black right now. Look at this.
Just so, you know that's your favorite color, right? The Scorpio season coming.
What are you trying to say? I'm trying to compensate for something.
Could be. I mean, you are yellow.
I got some color, man.
No, you don't. But we can move on though.
But go ahead, man. What you finish what you were saying?
No, that's basically it. I'm a little bit annoyed about by. I gotta see why it did what it did. OBS. That's kind of weird, and for some reason, that's really irritating.
Yeah. Yeah, we might have to do like a test next time beforehand just to see if we can get that worked out. But yeah, as far as me, man, I've you know me, man, I'm just kind of chilling. What what have I been playing? I've been playing Oh, you know what? Honestly, I've been playing this game called Death's Door. Um I've been playing that. I finished that like within the last week or so. And I just started playing Psychonauts 2, which to be honest with you, man, the game is a lot more involved than I thought. It has a lot more mechanics and stuff like that. It has a pretty cool concept or whatever the case. Um, but yeah, I was live streaming that on my channel, and honestly, I like the game, man. I like it a lot, man. I think it's pretty cool. Like the art style for it is a little, you know, different. I'll put it like that. But I mean, if you could look past like the art style and just the graphics and all that type of stuff, underneath it's actually a good game, like gameplay wise. And I don't really have anything bad to say about it, at least not yet. But I'm still early in the game, so I can't really say for sure. But yo, what's going on, Devil Shooter? What's goody, bro?
Yo, Devil.
Yo, Devil, what's good, bro? What's good? But yeah, um, that's
No,
pretty much it with me, with me, man.
no, it doesn't have any issues. Devil Shooter, PlayStation issues. It just doesn't support the PS5, really.
Yeah,
So that's really what it is. I'm a little bit, I don't know. I'll shake out of it, but that was super fucking annoying. Actually, let me see if the fucking shit is going on. Hold on. I don't know.
I'm
Yeah,
looking at the live stream right now.
no, I just wanted to make sure that it was I can hear.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. True.
Just in case something else happened. That was the thing. But other than that, we better
Yeah.
dive into these topics. Honestly,
Yes.
I wanted to talk about Sony's marketing. And how I think it needs a little bit of a extra appreciation. To be clear, I think that they do such a excellent job with their marketing. I'm sorry, it's making it a little bright in this bitch. There we go. I keep forgetting it gets dark early now because of the fall season coming up. But yeah, there were some points I actually wanted to go over. I don't know if you guys noticed, but Sony has been very, very slick with their marketing. Like it's been pretty, pretty impressive. If I must say so myself, and I think that people really believe that Sony doesn't know what they're doing. I feel that's what's going on behind the scenes. They think that Sony is just oblivious to to what they're doing, and that can't be further from the truth. That being said, let me give you some examples. I know Ken was like, "Well, how you want to spin this into a subject?" And I'll tell you. So, be that as it may, let me go into my trusty notes here. And
My
there were some
repertoire.
things, huh?
My repertoire.
There were just some things like if you kind of understood where Sony was going. Let me ask you this, Ken. Are you What do you have to say about their marketing? Because a lot of people think that, they're out of touch.
Um,
You're
I don't.
out of touch.
I
I
don't think they're
love
out of touch. I mean, a lot of people. I think a lot of people are saying that because they are like sparing with what they say. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not always like in the news talking about um, just something. Like they're not always talking, you know what I mean? So, but I don't think that that means that they're out of touch. I think they know pretty much what people want, you know what I'm saying? Um, yeah, and I mean I think it shows too, man. It seems like they always have their announcements kind of like spaced out uh specifically for, I don't know, like maybe you were talking about it a little bit, like for specifically for bad news and things like that, or it might not necessarily be bad news, but it might be like controversial news. Like some of their games going to PC and stuff like that. You know, um, they'll kind of have something ready for that. But but yeah, I mean, I don't think they're out of touch though. I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. Like even just recently when they announced the Horizon patch, you know, I think some people think it's like a little late, kind of, but or overdue, but I don't think it's out of touch.
I think the first time that I realized that they kind of they know what it's deliberate, put it that way. Um, People want Sony to join podcasts. So yeah, I think because they're not stooping down to influencers levels that they're out of touch and they don't really care. Um, on a side note, there's been talk about the new PlayStation 5 be running hotter, and in typical fashion, Sony doesn't say anything. It's like I don't need to explain to you anything. uh,
Why?
and I feel like that's the sentimentality of Sony. Like, I'm gonna give you the information when I want to, and how it's going to be distributed is how it's going to be distributed. You know what I mean? They made strides to make sure that they're not so closed, which I do appreciate. But let's go back to memory lane, back all the way before the PS5 actually was released. Because they built up a lot of goodwill when they had the PS4, and they didn't need to say too much because the competition was fucking up left and right. You know what I mean? When I say competition, I'm including Nintendo up until they released the Switch 4 years ago. I mean, it was basically their shit. Another thing that people complained about back then was that Sony didn't have any games, and then they came up with a Second Son, then Bloodborne, then Uncharted, then it just kept ramping up. God of War, Spider Man, and they kind of built up that goodwill. Once they got that goodwill, this is the story as to what happened with the PlayStation 5 because they didn't say shit for the longest. I am curious though, what do you think the reason why they used the road to PS5? Because there was a lot of criticism when they said I think the road to PS5, was it called that or whatever?
Are you talking about when they revealed the PS5
No, I'm talking about when
or
Mark
with
Cerny.
Mark Sony?
hmm
Um, I mean, to me, when I watched it, um, and I say this multiple times, but I don't understand everything that Mark Cerny said, on a technological standpoint, from a technological standpoint, but um, it did seem like that he was trying to give like at least a rundown of what he believed, you know, um, technologically would be possible with the PS5. So I think it was kind of like a roadmap for developers, really, more so than anything. Um, you know, so but I mean, I don't know. I don't.
You remember how
Outside of that, it
you
was
remember how
yeah,
people actually got like really, really. They were like, I don't think that was what Sony shouldn't have done. That is basically what they ended up saying. They said that Sony shouldn't have. It was too technical for people, which I feel like it could have been way more technical. I feel like Mark Cerny articulated it, but in typical fashion of you know the
layman's
times that we live in, people just overheard or they heard what they wanted to hear, and it was just like he said
devil
10,
shooter.
huh?
Go ahead.
He said 10.3 teraflops. That's less than 12, and they're doing anything that it takes, and Sony is just cheaped out and blah 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 blah. Why does it look, but at the time they didn't know. So I think they showed this. I don't know if they showed the logo first and then this road to PS5, or was it the road
They
to
did.
PS5 and then the logo?
It was. I think it was the logo, and then they wrote the PS5.
Okay, well,
Yeah, yeah,
so
because they had that press conference for not just PlayStation, but just Sony as a company, their
mm,
products. I forgot what it was called, and then they showed the logo, and then they had the road to PS5.
which obviously was deliberate. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they tried to tackle the numbers, the spec numbers, before it got out of control. You know what I mean? They tried to explain that it didn't mean anything, and people still believe what they wanted to believe. So they started off with the controller, right? And then they did the road to PS5. They didn't say shit. Then they had the final then they showed the controller. Remember that shit? Which had you were left with more questions than answers when you saw that controller. You were like, "What the fuck?"
Blew up the whole internet.
Everybody was like, "What kind of controller is this?" And then everybody was just like, "It looks just like a, it looks like an Xbox controller. Oh, they copied, blah, 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 blah," And it was very, I wouldn't say divisive. It was close to being divisive because I feel like most people kind of liked it. And they explained how it worked and that you had to feel it to believe it and stuff like that, which, you know, that's when they started to hype the DualSense features and how good it was. So it looks like they trickled all of the information down strategically throughout the time of release. Um,
I wanted to say, address Devil Shooter's question. He said the PS5 runs hotter. Um, so there was some information that just came out. I think literally within the last like 24 hours, um, which kind of stated that some of the little changes that they were going to make to the PS5 going forward. Because if you remember a while back, they were talking about making some modifications to the design of the PS5 to compensate. I guess help with productivity and stuff like that. But anyway, there was some information that came out that basically said that. Um, Let me see if I can pull it up here. Uh, it says that the new PS5 uses a smaller, lower cost heatsink, which it has cheaper components. It runs 99 degrees hotter, but it doesn't affect the
It
performance.
runs 2 to 3 degrees Celsius hotter, or
Celsius.
9 degrees Fahrenheit hotter.
Yeah. Yep. And then it uses less copper material. So, but either way, all together, it's just supposed to help with the productivity of the PS5 without sacrificing the performance. Um, but yes, according to the information, supposedly it does run hotter, but it doesn't affect the performance. So,
So when the PS5 came out, you know what I mean? Since this topic, I would say, I'll address what you say. I'll address the whole thing with what Devil Shooter I stated earlier. Um,
you can go ahead, man. I just wanted to throw that in there.
no, I know. I saw what he was doing earlier, so I wanted to address it too. But yeah, they showed the DualSense um feature, or they told you about the DualSense features, how it was going to work and stuff like that. And then when they finally revealed the look of the PlayStation 5, it was backed by a whole bunch of different games. It was backed by high caliber graphics, and it was backed by um, them being inclusive, showing you a black Spider-Man. Like they checked all boxes, and then they showed you the PS5, and no one knew. I mean, people was like, that looks weird, but it looks cool. And they showed it real nice. You remember that shit? It was like fucking marbles or bubbles, and then they finally showed that shit with a nice ass beat. You know what I'm
I
saying?
remember.
And the world went insane. Like they lost their shit.
I remember
Um,
thinking it looked like a pussy.
you know, it does. Now I look at it, it does, especially what happened yesterday. But it does look like one. Um, but it also looks like a router. And
Yep.
everybody was like, "This shit looks like a piece of like a fan, or like what is this?" So that was a whole thing, or whatever the case is. The thing is, they managed to really, really keep you engaged with what they were saying. They had some mishaps though. Saying that the game was going to release on PC was definitely an issue. You know what I'm saying? It was definitely a really, really big issue for a lot of people because it was against the paradigm. You know, there
Which
was
game
that.
was it? I think it was Days Gone, right?
It was Horizon.
Was it Horizon?
Yep,
Okay.
It was Horizon at first. People were like, "Well, that's just a one-off." Then it was Days Gone. People was like, "Oh, what the
Yeah.
fuck?" You
And
know?
that's kind of where we are right now. And
No, it
then
was. I'm sorry. It was Death Stranding. But then everybody was like, "Well, we already knew it was gonna be for PC." Then it was Horizon, and everybody's like, well, he is using the Decima engine." Then it was Days Gone. Everybody's like, "What the fuck?" And then Jim Ryan was like, "Well, we're gonna have a." Well, he never said that, but he said we won't move forward with releasing games on the PC. But if you notice, they always did something. Like when they announced uh uh what do you call it, Days Gone, they released a patch to make it 60 frames a second. So
they
like they
did.
always have something, some sort of check, either a studio acquisition if information is going fucked up, sales information. They mentioned Ghost of Tsushima selling 6 million, or they'll have the patches to kind of stave off any kind of bad news. Staying silent was a really big thing for them. Uh, they also made sure that you stayed engaged with the state of plays. State of plays were very curated. Um, it was very curated to just the game itself. It was like little mini walkthroughs. They did that with what was that fucking game again? But it was Spider-Man. They did it with Ghost of Tsushima,
But you could tell that they were also trying
The
to
Last
like,
of Us.
yeah, like you could also tell that they were like over the last like couple of years when they actually first announced the state of play. Because I think the first time they announced it was like in 2019. That was like the very first one that they had, I believe. And then like you could see like over time they were kind of like trying to like change the format and see what worked and what didn't work and stuff like that. Um, and it seems like now they kind of have it locked in what they're trying to do, depending on what they're showing, really.
Well, yeah, they know how to generate buzz is what I see here, and then keeping their mouth shut is another big thing. You know what I mean? Let the mind wander. I was looking at something yesterday about Silent Hill. You've heard of Pyramid Head, I'm sure.
Yeah.
What do you think Pyramid Head looks like under there?
I don't know, man.
You ever wonder
Probably
that though?
ugly.
You ever wonder that though?
Um, I mean, I've never really been like a big like Silent Hill like player, but yeah, I mean, thinking about it, like yeah, it's just like anything else. I mean, you do have like that sense of like, huh, I wonder what I wonder what that nigga looks like.
It's the art of mystery, man. The art of letting your imagination run free, you know? And also, there's two more little pieces of information regarding Sony's marketing. There's the controlled leaks, these supposed things. Like, if you realize the PlayStation Plus games are being leaked in a controlled manner, you know what I'm saying? The Spider-Man Far From Home or whatever I forgot what the fucking title is, but that
No way
shit,
home.
No Way Home, that shit was fucking leaked strategically, and then they had a fucking CGI trailer right after that shit, and then they also put a controller at the end of it. You know what I mean? Because I think we were talking about that shit too. They were like, "Well, you can't show the console because that'll piss people off." Well, I can't get it. Why you stalling it? Like it's so easy. Why you did? They just show the controllers. You can easily get one of the controllers, and it keeps the PS5 in mind. So my question to you, Ken, is how what's your stance on marketing for Sony or and its PlayStation?
Um, I mean, one of the things that I noticed personally, I mean, you did kind of touch on it, was that
You stupid.
it
You have a
seemed,
head.
yeah, he said he said he has a head, he has a foot, as a face. Um, but one of the things that I noticed personally was that they always seem to have information when uh like ready when they need it. You know what I'm saying? And they always kind of like it seems like they always had information specifically when there was something like controversial, going around about Sony. You know what I mean?
Right.
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess it's kind of hard to. I don't know. See, me personally, man, I kind of and see, mind you, I want to say this because at the time, when some of this stuff was happening, like for example with Horizon when that came out, that I was going to PC, you know, we didn't really know specifically like how Sony was gonna like start implementing because they didn't really talk about it. They didn't really talk much about how they were gonna put their stuff on PC, right? So we a lot of I know me for example, I was just like when I saw some of this stuff coming out, I figured that what they were trying to do was condition people, to kind of like accept the news, you know, because they have something good following it. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I think they've been a little bit more open about how they're doing all of their strategies. But case in point, I think what they were trying to do is like partly anyway have information specifically ready for when there's some sort of like controversial news. You know what I mean? Which is smart. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, you don't really want that much negative press around your console, or your product. Um, and I believe at the time, I believe Microsoft was getting a lot of flack for their stuff too. So Sony they did it the smart way.
What do you mean?
Yeah, like whenever they had bad news, they had good news to follow it. You know what I'm saying? So
It's very strategic. So it's not like it's just like let's scrunch up for some new news or some good news. You know what I'm saying? It was very strategic. And they totally planned that shit out, especially with the what do you call it? Horizon Forbidden West being delayed. I think they had that patch already. Probably had it ready for the beginning of the year, but they probably saw that they were running behind schedule and was like, well, let's probably use this as a trump card. It is very clear to me that Sony knows exactly what they're doing. Even when they're not saying anything, they know exactly what they're doing. Even when it comes to, releasing games on the PC, they're not going to tell you exactly what they're going to do to keep you hanging on to the notion that possibly they're going to
Maybe,
stay
maybe not.
exclusive, maybe, maybe not. That's why
Yep.
Devil Shooter is confused right now as to what to do. And if you really were about it, you would just pull the trigger and buy a $2,000 PC.
But yeah, I did notice that as well. That their silence, because a lot of people seem to think that Sony being quiet um is essentially a negative, but I think they know what they're doing in terms of like controlling the information, and knowing when and when not to talk. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, for months, dude, like I think it was, sheesh, it was the beginning of this year, really. They said nothing. Like after they revealed the console and the console came out and all that stuff, they said absolutely nothing. And everybody ran with their own like little narratives about like what was going on with the PS5. And it's funny because when they actually started talking, they really didn't say anything major. They just kind of like reassured people that, you know, that they were still there and that the stuff that you've been hearing is not true, you know, basically. Um, so I think they do kind of have like a threshold um in terms of like information that may be detrimental to the brand, you know, is when they talk. And when they don't talk, it's kind of, I mean, when they do talk, it's either like I said to kind of like cover or mitigate bad news or some strategic in some way. You know what I mean? So, but
Well,
all in all, man, I think they know what they're doing.
well, I mean, like it or not, their silence is definitely working, regardless of whether you want to agree with it or not. It just is what it is. To address what you were saying about the PlayStation 5 new versions are running hotter. It's funny how people are really upset about Sony trying to make money. Now, that's none of my business. I'll say that much. You know what I'm saying? But what company isn't trying to make money? Like, I was reading that shit on Twitter, and people were like, "Oh, that's so scummy. I can't believe they're just doing anything to make a buck." Um, what? You want the game for free? You want these games and the console and everything for free? That's what you want? Because they, how the fuck you gonna get that? Can't pay. Whatever currency you're using on social media isn't gonna make those games. So those social, what the fuck that was? Those social points that you get on social media is not gonna pay the bills. You know. So I don't know what the fuck that was all about. Regardless of the matter, the copper costs is it's low. I mean, I'm sorry, copper is we're running low on copper. There's already a shortage of chips, and copper costs a lot of fucking money. Man, they were already profitable before they made these changes. Uh, what wasn't what do you call it, profitable was the no disc versions of the PS5, and they were very clear as to stating that. So the one that Austin did on that particular review on which one is quieter is for the digital versions of the PlayStation 5, which that's where they're trying to save money anyway. That's number
And
one.
I do want to say this as well, man, because I mean, at the end of the day, man, they're a company. You know what I'm saying? They're going to do what they have to do to make as much money as possible. They spent millions and millions, if not billions of dollars into creating the PS5 itself. You know what I'm saying? Um, or, just the whole, ecosystem or whatever you want to call it, right? But either way, they're still a company. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, they're going to do what they have to do to get the money that they have to. Now, in terms of us as a consumer, um, I think the fact that they're doing this can also be beneficial because of the fact that there is a shortage of the parts and the availability of the console. So apparently, the design choices that they're making to the PS5 will, in fact, help with the production, which means that more people get to get it. So really, it's a win-win. You know what I'm saying? They get their money and people get to have their console. So shut the hell up.
Well, I want to say this, right? I These people that have jobs on social media, right? This is when my podcast I did yesterday. These fucking entitled millennials work for free for a year, 6 months. You know what I mean? For the betterment of humanity or the U.S. You know, whatever job that you have, don't even take a paycheck. You know what I'm saying? Because like, why allow people to pay for things? You know what I mean? That's not fair. How
Yeah,
ridiculous do you? How ridiculous do you sound for any company or anything, anybody trying to make sure that they're not losing money at the time of a pandemic? You know what I mean? You're not an engineer. Sony clearly stated that the BIOS for the PS5 sends them information on how hot or cold it is, and they'll be able to modulate or adjust any future iterations. They literally fucking said this. Road to PS5. They said all of this, and all of it came to be. The SSD, they said don't expect that shit anytime soon. They fucking clocks. It's dangerous to fucking do that. They said all of this shit, and still people are hard headed and don't want to fucking listen.
but they didn't say 6 months later, man.
They didn't say 6 months and 3 days, so I don't know where I'm going. They even said that they want to continue to release PC. They want to release their games on PC. They said they were going to continue to do that, and people are still confused. I don't know what context that means. It means I'm releasing the fucking PC games or PlayStation games on PC. It's exactly what it means. So you take your pick. You buy it now if you got a PS5, or you buy a PC and you wait for those games to come out. That's it. You got your history. I'm so tired of, and I'm sorry, Ken, I know you do this a lot. I'm so tired of this benefit of the doubt bullshit. It doesn't work. That is not a good way of thinking. The benefit of the doubt shit is ass. Why you waste so much time worried about benefits of the doubts? It doesn't help you. Make
Umar
your
said that.
huh?
Umar said that Jim Ryan had to stop the engineers from making $1,000 PS5, which is true. I remember that article when it came out.
It's
That
so
interview.
true. It's so true. The reason why it's big like that is to save money. The reason why they chose to overclock the shit is to save money. The reason why they chose liquid metal is so it won't fucking dry out with that immense heat. I've seen videos where they left the fan off. They plugged out the fan, the ribbon cord for the fan, and it was on playing what do you call it the shit again? Astros Playroom for like a good 30 minutes before it's decided to power down. So obviously they got a solution that is overkill. It running 4 degrees Celsius hotter means nothing in the grand scheme of things, because the way that they tested the fucking thermals was using one of them thermal cameras and measuring the exhaust, the hot air that's coming out of it. So I tell you this, I say this: if the air coming out is fucking hot, what does that mean? You can think of it two ways. Either the whole system is overheating, which if still running, or the fucking heat sink is doing its fucking job and taking all that hot air out and is not pent up.
Yeah, inside.
They
So
already told you
doing
don't
what it's
put
supposed
it
to
in the,
do.
they told your dumbass don't put it in the fucking cabinet. That's why it can sit on its own. Niggas want to put that shit in a fucking enclosed cabinet and close the fucking glass door. Talking about some wise height.
It's overheating, man. Sony.
This don't look good. The fucking memory stick, the system memory is overheating. It's running at capacity. You think these fucking engineers don't know what's going on? Despite the fact that the PlayStation 4 was running loud as shit, it never powered down for me. And you wouldn't know something, double shooter. Your shit is powering down because that shit's dirty. dirty. Because my PS5, despite the fact I was playing God of War and everything else, you know what it sounds like? All fucking day. It never shut down though.
Yo, do you have your noise canceling on?
Why? You couldn't hear me?
No, I couldn't hear you.
Oh, because I was making
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
weird sound that it wasn't a voice. Ooh, you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear that.
Ooh, that's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
I
Yo, I
got it
stopped watching
clean.
women.
When did you? He said Sony Airlines. When did you actually clean that shit? This nigga can't even play Ghost of Tsushima or any fucking good looking game on his PS4. None.
Why? Why? Because of
It shuts down. No, not noise. It shuts down. Has your PS4 ever shut down?
no.
Okay. You would
I
have.
mean, it sometimes what it would do is like the game would crash or something like that. But it was pretty rare though. But I never had my PS4 just like shut down, like just completely shut down.
And we don't even know if the crash was because of the heat or was it just because of it crashing. You know what
It
I'm
might have
saying?
just been the game itself. You know what I mean?
Because
But I,
your system is turning off. That either means one of two things. Either someone smokes 4 packs of cigarettes in your house, which I suspect, devil shooter, and that shit's just lingering, or you have a dirty ass house. That's your options.
yeah,
Just saying.
yeah.
Let's be real. Let's be real.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest here. How often do you sweep the floor? But
These consoles are way more powerful than they used to be. And you know what the funny thing is with PS? We're about to go to the second topic. You want to know something that's interesting about the PS3? The PS3, when I first got the launch model, the exhaust that came out of the PS3 was always cool. It never was really hot. And what did I get for it? The yellow light of death. My PS4, that shit came out, will warm my entire fucking room. Never shut down.
it does though. I remember, man. Like the PS4 would literally like heat your room up by a couple of degrees, man. You'd be like, "Yo, it's kind of hot."
You know.
but um, but yeah,
Okay.
I don't know. Did you have anything else you wanted to say on that topic?
No, we can move on to the next.
Yeah, let's do just that. So the next topic, um, which I think is pretty interesting, personally, is just the struggle of Sony being the market leader, in the gaming space right now. Um, it's pretty crazy, man. Just seeing some of the crazy things that people are saying about the PS5. But man, haters gonna hate, man. You know what I mean?
Apparently our
But
PS5 is going to melt. And by the way, Ken, I got to go to the store. You think you can hold this down for like 30 minutes?
bro,
Okay,
I mean,
continue.
I
I'm
mean,
fucking
I
with you. I'm
could.
fucking with you.
I
Go ahead.
could.
Go ahead.
Yo, I'll be back in an hour, bro. You got this, man. but but yeah. As far as Sony being the market leader, man, um, I know all of us, we have heard people say some of the most ridiculous things, man, when it comes to the PS5, and just Sony in general. Like as a company, and you look at some of this stuff and you're like, yo, what are you talking about, man? But I guess it just comes with the territory, man. Being the market leader, you're just kind of like in the mind's eye and stuff like that. I have a couple of points here that I want to kind of go over because although being the market leader is indicative of more criticism and things like that, there are some pros to it as well, which is good. But one of the things that I put down here, um, which it sucks, but it's just the reality of being first. is that Sony has to be on their A game. They have to, and it sucks in a way. Because like it's almost like you can't really make a mistake on one end, but then again on the other end, if you look at it this way, Sony, it seems like they make some of their best stuff when they are under pressure too. So I mean, in perspective, I mean, I guess you could kind of look at it either way. Um, but yeah, it just sucks, man, that you can't really like make any mistakes, man. Being on the top because you are like the most susceptible to criticism. Just in general, because you're always in the media's eye. People are always looking at what you're doing and stuff like that, man. So what do you have to say about it so far, man? Before I go any further into my points.
Listen, I don't know what it is about human nature that if something's on the top, you just want it. You don't want to see it there no more. It's fine. It's so cool for the ride up there. You know what I mean? You go tick 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 like a roller coaster. Tick 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 tick. You finally get up there. Oh, they're getting cocky. They're getting cocky, man. They're getting cocky. You know what I'm saying? You start nitpicking. You start looking for other things. Like, uh, I'm I'm tired of playing these AAA games. Too many
Yeah,
cinematic experiences for
yeah,
me.
yep.
I just want a AA game. It's saturated. I'm tired of this quality. This food is too rich. You know what I'm saying? And I don't
want my
know. I
game
don't.
to look like shit.
I, I want my games to look like shit. I'm tired of these graphics. Can I just play an 8-bit game? And then somebody comes along. We care about our indie games. See? Sony should do that. They neglecting people. Then don't even
It-
turn
Yo,
around and even fucking buy it.
and then at the same time and be like, yo, why are they always showing indie games, man? They need to show more AAA exclusives, man.
Like seconds later. We have a new state of play. We're gonna highlight what is
Indie games.
Subnautica or Subnautica.
Subnautica, yeah.
Why
Where's
they
Horizon, man?
where's Horizon? Where's God of War? Who asked for Splunky? I don't want it. I'd be like,
It's so true, though. It's so true.
I'd be like,
You know what I mean?
okay.
You know, you know, it's so unfortunate, man. There's so many examples too, man. Where you'll just see like people kind of like giving Sony so much like criticism, for stuff, man. But then
I would have stayed.
literally,
I would have stayed silent too. Shit, Silence of the Lambs. That would have been quiet as a motherfucker. Because it's like if I show you a AAA game, all this walking, all this cinematic. Oh, what we got here? Comedy in there. Oh, whoa, no. Oh, here we go again. The same Sony template. Or somebody with a bow and arrow, or somebody walking in the forest, or
body
leaves.
on a horse,
Somebody's on a
green
horse.
forest.
Then they have something fucking. What's that game called? Concrete Genie. They wasted their money on that. They could have made something good. I'm like, not saying shit.
I don't even blame them, man. And I think that comes back to the marketing too, man. Because I think they know this, man. I think they know that being that they are the market leader, they are literally susceptible to the most criticism, man. No matter what they do, no matter how they move, what they say, bro. If they breathe in the wrong direction, people are talking about it. Yeah, pretty much. And it's like it's just weird, man. Because so many people come up with some random stuff, bro. Like one of the things that and I mentioned this to you too, the other day was that whole thing about Ratchet and Clank, which I know we talked about that before, but there's some more stuff, man, that just randomly comes up out of nowhere. Some dude had an article talking about that the PS3 would be able to do the rifts on the PS3 hardware, kind of like what they did on the PS5. There would be a solution for it at the very least. But there goes some more criticism, just random. And it's funny. It always seems to happen right after there's good news. If you haven't noticed, every time there's some kind of good news for Sony, like there's always somebody who comes out says something about whatever.
We had a good run with the Horizon Forbidden Earth Zero Dawn with the 60 frames a second. A lot of these games getting patched again. The fucking beta for SSDs had such a good run. And then here comes this dude Austin look like he eats his own jizz. He just looks like he'd be like, so that's what he look like. He just looks so nasty every time I see him. But regardless, he comes out of nowhere and talk about some. Well, I got the Japanese PS5, the new version, and guess what? There's a crisis. Everybody knows he's an expert, but we're gonna do a scientific study. We're gonna open it up and we're gonna measure it. Our scientific tools are a camera and a scale. That's pretty much it. Let's measure the heat sink. Oh, it's lighter and it looks cheaper. Look, there's no copper. Oh my gosh, you see that? Oh, that doesn't look good. That's not a good look. That's not a good look at all. What do you think it is? Oh, I think personally, they're just saving the money and they're not even passing it over to the customer. Oh, I just can't believe it. This looks bad. And this really, this could mean, everything's fine right now, but this could mean, especially when you put in an SSD, it could add extra heat to it. And, you could really be left with a problem. This isn't a good look. And they tweet this shit.
Yep, and it always catches on, man. Every single time, without like clockwork, man. it's fucking crazy, man.
I'm like a moth to a flame. I really shouldn't be looking at this shit, but here I am. You know what I mean? Looking at this stupidity. I'm looking at it now. I just want to take a peek to see what the fuck it was going to be, man. I'm like,
yep, always something stupid, man. I don't know, man. I'm getting to the point where it's like you just see so much stupid stuff, man. You just don't even want to like engage with it anymore, man. It's not even fun. Like this whole console war thing, man. It's like, don't get me wrong, it's fun to engage with it, but there's a threshold, man.
to a degree, to a fucking degree.
Yeah, yeah, because you just get to the point where stuff just sounds stupid. Like you just sound stupid. Shut up.
Shut up. Shut up. That's what I feel like saying.
Yeah, and it's funny because every single time that it happens, it's always like premature, and then there's information that actually comes out, and everybody's like, "Oh, what's that thing you always do? Oh,
and I."
But I don't know what it is, man. I think, to be honest with you, man, like what Josh just said a minute ago. I think it's part of human nature, man. I think what happens is, people love to see like the redemption story. You know what I mean? They love to see people like go through that arc of like they were down, they were the small guy, they were the what do you call it? What's the word that I'm looking for? The underdog. They're the underdog, right? And then they fight their way to the top. Fight, you know what I mean? They make it all the way to the top. And then everybody supports them all the way there. They're like, yo, yeah, go, get it, yeah. And they make it to the top, and then it's like, it's cool for a little while, you kind of like praise them, like, yeah, this is cool, this is, yeah, Sony, keep doing it, keep doing your thing, right? And then, then that redemption arc, it goes to somebody else, and then everybody wants to see this. It's kind of, what it reminds me of, Josh? It kind of reminds me of Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean? Because when he first started fighting, man, this dude was destroying everybody, and everybody loved it. They loved it. They loved seeing this guy destroy people, man. And then it got to a point where he was cocky, and people just wanted to see him lose. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I don't know what it is. I just think it's just part of human nature, man. You know, I think people just want to see that redemption story and then just see you get your knees cut off pretty much, you know, and then go through it again.
Apparently, people just love the drama. They love the drama right now. I'm actually messaging you in case you weren't. See, that was yours. Don't look at it. I would see. I would not look at it, but unfortunately, it's everywhere. When because I'm doing a podcast, I gotta look online. You know what I'm saying? For whatever I'm trying to do, I'm looking for information and stuff like that. Real news, real things that gamer things. The thing is, the PS5 can get really loud if you really put it in a closed fucking cabinet before it overheats. If you allow it to be. Now, I shouldn't say really loud because the fans are so big, it wouldn't generate that much noise anyway, but it could make noise. The PS5 just didn't have a need to. And then everyone's like, well, maybe not now, but when watch when the games start looking good. That's not how games work. That's not how code works. You can have shitty optimized code and it could burn your fucking whole computer up, making it run cycles that it doesn't need to. You can make it draw more heat by having horrible code. I can't. I can't.
I can't with these guys. I just can't. I
What
can't. I just
was that
can't.
one guy from from the GIF? It's that white dude. I don't know where he comes from. He's like, I can't. I can't.
Wait, I gotta think of it.
I haven't seen if I can send it to you.
Yeah, yeah. But those are some of the cons, you know, when it comes to, you know, just kind of struggling being the market leader, you know. But obviously there are some good things that comes with it as well. Um, which we'll go through some of the points that I have here for it as well. So some of the good things about being the market leader is that um a lot of times you do tend to get like the majority of the sales and stuff like that, sales and mind share for your product, which is good. It's good for a couple of different reasons. And I'm sure Josh, you have some other stuff you probably want to add to it as well. But it's just like right now, you know, the majority of the games that are selling on that are coming out like multi-platform games, they're selling like massively more on the PS5 than they are on any other platform. You know what I'm saying? So is that the reason why that's actually good is because of things like leverage. You know what I'm saying? So when you have that much leverage over the majority of sales, you know, for whatever the products and stuff like that, that means that they have leverage when it comes to talking and dealing with developers and publishers and shit like that. You know, so what does that mean? That means more games for us, baby. You know what I'm saying?
It means
Coming back
more.
to
It
it.
means more games. Here's how it means more games for us, because the argument could be made that they could play the whole Michael Jackson song. All I gotta say is that they don't really care about us. They'll take that money and not give it to the fucking consumer. So even if you take that argument out and they said that they won't pass over the savings over to the consumer, you got to understand that making more PS5s because you have more materials to do so, or you chose another material to make your console, simply means that they can make more, which simply means that it will be more available for people that are trying to get a PS5, which also means that your games will sell more, which also means that you can take more risks. So,
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
like,
No, like seriously though,
uh,
like it's like a snowball effect. You know what I mean? The more that you're able to, you know, produce and get your console out there, more sales you can make, the more games that sell on your platform, the more that you're actually able to do, like in terms, like you said, make taking risks. That means unique, like more unique games. You know what I'm saying? More unique games. And then on top of that, like higher quality games. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's that's just one of the good things of you know having a platform, you know what I'm saying, where you can kind of like get the majority of the sales, you know, and or the mind share.
I just sent it to
um
you. I just sent it to your DM. You gotta see it real quick.
like,
He look. You see it, right?
Let me see.
He really looks like he can't anymore. He's just broken down. He cannot anymore.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, this guy. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I can't.
I can't. I just can't.
He had enough. I just can't anymore.
I can't. I can't. I can't. I just can't. But but yeah, man. That's one of the things, man. One of the other things that I have written down here is that we all know that Sony has a focus on quality when it comes to their games. It just across the board. You know what I'm saying? Across the board, quality for their games, quality for
BRB.
their all right, quality for their games, quality for their company, quality for indie developers and stuff like that. Quality in terms of like the collaborations that they do and whatnot. So one of the other good things about them being a market leader is the fact that they can actually be more or less selective with the people that they actually work with. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, at the end of the day, like when it comes to it, like people are going to be like people are looking.
I
But
apologize for the inconvenience.
nah, you're good, man. But the reality is that people are always looking at Sony. You know what I'm saying? Now, like I said before, that does put them in the light of the media stuff like that. They're always open to criticism. However, on the good side of it, people are always looking at Sony. You know what I'm saying? That means that people are always looking at ways that they can collaborate with Sony, whatever the case. You know what I'm saying? Make money because they're just the biggest platform right now. In gaming, pretty much. You know, so yeah, they do have the ability to have like to be more selective with their deals. More selective with the type of developers that they work with and publishers and stuff like that. Just to make sure that they can actually bring like the highest quality standard, to their products. Um, but I don't know. You have anything to say about that one specifically? Just sort of like how Sony kind of like they can be a little bit more selective because they are the market leader. With who they work with, the type of stuff that they have on their platform and whatnot.
Selective, no. In control, yes. Have more leverage, yes. You know, I tell you what, the same thing happened to Sony in the PS3 days, where they had no leverage. Can you make Final Fantasy on my system alone, just exclusive? No, that's what Square
Can you
Enix said.
can you
Can you that? So many inside jokes, but um,
please please do it for me?
no, no, no. That's what Sony. Can we please have exclusive rights for just 1 month? No, no. Now with the PS4, we just want we want the popularity. Can you? I mean, what are you gonna do for me? What does it
Sony,
do? Hmm,
can you cross play with us?
no.
No, no.
What if I pay you
This is the
this?
best platform.
Why if I pay you this? I'm gonna need double that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, but all of that
I
being
know,
said
double.
too, but all of that being said, right? The fact that they are, like you said, a little bit more in control of the quality of their brand and whatnot, what they allow, what they don't allow, and how much leverage they have over developers and publishers and stuff like that. Um, and also the fact that they focus so heavily on quality, which means that they've amassed, a certain level of trust with their consumer and a certain level of goodwill. Um, Meaning, it's like, for example, like a game like recently, like Returnal. I think a lot of people gave that game.
Whoa,
I
whoa,
know you don't
whoa,
like
whoa, whoa,
this
whoa.
word. The benefit of the doubt because um, I think because it was a Sony product. You know what I'm saying? You know, I know some people probably don't like to hear that, but I do think that is the case. You know, I do think some people are, or a lot of people are more lenient to some extent, you know, in terms of like, um, you know, more openly accepting their products simply because they have a history of making good products. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I do believe that that people do kind of like in some way have a bias towards the quality of Sony's products. But I think they've earned it. You know what I'm saying? I think they've definitely earned it. So, but all in all, I think there's just a certain level of consumer trust. You know what I'm saying? From people, just like whenever they kind of have something, they kind of already have like this stamp of approval. You know, for quality for their games and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So, which, like I said, starts the whole cycle again. More sales, you know, more stuff, blah blah blah. Better for us. So, what do you think, man?
Um, with all these complaints from these people about Sony needs to do better. Um, it's it's all you gonna do is make them better. That's what happen. If they were already doing good, and you would have nitpick and shit, they were like, "Oh, word, you give me real constructive criticism."
Yo, what's going on, Black? What's goody? Yeah, no, true facts, man. And I didn't even write that down, but that's true too, man. Um, you know, a lot of people think that just the criticism just goes acknowledged. But I think Josh is right, man. I think to some extent, man, it's just making them better. You know.
Sony like,
Mhm. So, but that was pretty much those are pretty much the points that I had. You know, in terms of like the pros and cons for just being the market leader. Did you have anything that you kind of had any perspective on, any viewpoints, anything like that?
I think we pretty much covered it. Truthfully, I mean, the bottom line is that it's when you're at the top, people are going to have unrealistic expectations. You know what I'm saying? You know, it is what it is, and Sony will take these criticisms into consideration, and
Just make them better. Just
make
make a
something
better
better
product.
about it. It's just the unnecessary complaints. I mean, it's funny because there were a lot of people that couldn't stand Michael Jordan, but you just couldn't knock his hustle. People don't like Jay-Z. You can't knock his hustle.
People don't like Floyd Mayweather.
Can't knock his
Can't knock
hustle.
his hustle. Can't knock
People
that
don't
hustle.
people don't like Drake. Can't knock the hustle. Those numbers are there. Can't say shit about it. You can laugh all day. Ooh, he's slanging. He ain't even rapping no more. This nigga couldn't even. He got a glass chain. If a nigga check that bitch, he will collapse. Fuck that nigga. That nigga's still selling. It's like the highest selling rapper. You know why? Because he made a smart business decision. He sells to effeminate men and females.
Sign of the times, I guess.
So if anybody likes Drake, I mean, I don't got any problem with you. But do have effeminate qualities.
But that is a blanketed statement.
No, I think it's pretty targeted. People that listen to Drake have double-sided dildos, man or female.
I guess,
Mm.
I guess it takes one to know one, doesn't it? Oh man, I think that's it, man. I think we pretty much exhausted everything for that topic.
Yeah, we can go on the last one.
Yeah,
Um,
take it away.
so our last one is a topic that I want to start off with because it was my obscured idea. It was kind of weird. I gotta get all this chip shit off of me. Anyway,
Is
so our
somebody
next.
shooting a gun outside?
Hmm?
I think somebody might be shooting a gun outside.
What does it sound like? Blacka, blacka, blacka.
No, like facts. That's what it sounds like. It sounds like
I don't
yo. I better
know.
not. Yo, I low key better not wake up and be like, yo, somebody's house got shot up this weekend.
I mean, where you're
Yeah,
at right now, probably a redneck.
bro, I'm not even joking. It actually sounds like there's somebody shooting a gun outside.
They're still doing it?
Yeah, yes, and it sounds like it's. It kind of sounds like an automatic too, man. Like automatic gun or semi-auto.
That motherfucker's lit two shots in the atmosphere, yo.
It just stopped. Bro, I fucking hope I don't wake up and be like, somebody just got shot in your neighborhood. Go ahead, man. Go ahead with the topic.
Has anyone shot been shot in your neighborhood?
No,
Or
not that I know of.
have you ever heard of this?
No, I mean I've heard. I mean, you got to remember we live in the South, man. You know, so people love their guns out here. Um, so I mean, every now and then you'll hear people shooting. Um, you know, just shooting in general, like shooting in their backyards and stuff is weird, but
They're
they
probably
do.
shooting their Bud Light cans.
Oh no, man, that thing sounds pretty legit. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. but but go ahead, man. Go ahead with the last topic.
It's still going on?
I don't hear it right now.
Curse you, noise canceller.
That's what it sounds like.
um so
But yeah,
anyway,
you can go ahead, man. I think it's done. I think it's over.
so I had an epiphany over the weekend, a little bit, a couple of days before the weekend, about the angle that Sony will be taking with their games. So the angle that the industry will be taking um, going, moving forward. Last week we were talking about standalone multiplayer games, and this week we're talking about more single player games. If you look at how third party has been moving in terms of them releasing games, it's been nothing but
By the way,
multiplayer. Hmm?
you were on the money with that the multiplayer thing. They just announced the Naughty Dog standalone multiplayer.
Well.
I mean,
um, as a matter of fact, let me find this before we go on. But as I'm looking for this, one of the things that I did here is that this was done, I would say, in July. It says the billion-dollar monetization giant EA shifts towards single-player games. Right? EA makes most of its yearly revenue from the monetized sports juggernaut like FIFA and Madden, NFL. But the publisher is starting to shift back to single player experiences. Following the breakout success of a game like Jedi Fallen Order, and with established online anchors like FIFA, Madden, Apex, Battlefield established, EA now seems more open to single player games. While the publisher's billion-dollar live game offerings aren't going anywhere, EA is now diversifying its portfolio across a spectrum of experiences. Live services no longer seems to be required for all of its games. Noteworthy is Dead Space, the remake. Right? It's a single player game designed to keep players glued to their seat from start to finish. And unlike live games, it will actually finish. There is something to be said, and I'm gonna take a break from this and we'll put a pin in this. There's something to be said about finishing your game and having that sense of completion. So in my normally vulgar style, could you imagine having sex with a girl
I
and
could.
not busting that nut? You go on for like an hour. You just be like, you good? Yeah, I got satisfied. Yeah, I don't need the bus. It's cool. Don't worry about it.
I'm good. I'm good. No,
You know,
no.
that's
I'm
just,
good.
as long as you're happy, you know what I mean, it's good. Or you could be on, X videos or RedTube or whatever the fuck you young kids watch nowadays. I don't know what the fuck you watch.
Yo,
And
RedTube, I haven't heard that in a long time. Oh my god.
I
I didn't even know that they were still
don't know if they are either. This is just X videos for me. I just kind of fell off. Anyway, so if you go onto these websites and you watching a little video, you watch, I don't know, maybe the 20, 30, 40 minutes, and you're just like, yep, that's all I needed. And then that's it. That makes no sense. Your brain is looking for a completion. Or let's take out the whole vulgarity of all of this, right? You watch a good movie, you know what I mean? You watch Matrix Reloaded. It is purpose that connects us, purpose that pulls us, that drives us. It is purpose that. I'm good. That was a good movie. Don't worry about it.
I liked it.
That was 10 out of 10. That was really
Awesome.
good. Did you see that? That shit was good. What? You see what? Shit. I hope they make a sequel. That'd be fucking lit. It's like my point is, it's overly dramatic. But my point that I'm trying to make is completion. You know what I'm saying? Um, this is why Sony does well with their single player games. People like to feel like a sense of completion. Anyway, taking the pin out of this, the publisher has a number of single player driven games currently in development, including Dead Space. The one is actually a big example of EA's turnaround. EA Motive, the team behind the Dead Space remakes, says they want to make a game so immersive that the player will complete it in one sitting. So they're starting to realize that the key to episodic games, right? If you do that in one sitting, that means the game is like 6 hours long, which means that they can sell a game for about $70. And it means that you'll be looking for that sequel. So that's why I think they're going to balance it. But regardless, we're going to stick to single player games being the thing. Um, okay. EA typically never wants gamers to complete its games this fast. EA's $7 billion business is centered around never-ending play, engagement, and player retention. EA's new change of heart was originally sparked by Jedi Fallen Order success. Its tumultuous Star Wars game release slate is the clearest example of the business shift. And then they have a graph here that shows their earnings. And 2022 forecast is higher than all of it in the past, looks like 10 years.
Oh, really? Wow.
Not that much, but it's telling.
It's a trend trending in that
It's
direction.
trending higher with that
Yeah.
game. Back in 2020, we noted that Respawn's Star Wars game ultimately changed how EA will make the future Star Wars projects. Jedi Fallen Order is now the fastest selling Star Wars game of all time. Another convincing plot was Battlefront's 2 disastrous loot box controversy, which led the game being essentially rebuilt on a monetization level. Sadly, this paradigm shift wasn't enough to save other Star Wars projects. EA has canceled a number of Star Wars games before Jedi Fallen Order, namely Visceral Games' ambitious Project Ragtag, a perspective shifting bounty hunter game described as Uncharted meets Star Wars. We're almost done here. EA originally announced a Star Wars game pipeline back in 2016, but has canceled all three different Star Wars projects over the last 5 years, including Ragtag and the two other games from EA Vancouver, the Planet Hopping Project Orca and Battlefield spin-off Project Viking. EA's Motive Star Wars Squadron was also a huge departure. It was online multiplayer, but no monetization. This is a major turning point for EA and the company that always has typically tried to bake in monetization. There you go. In
Monetization.
all of its games. Now, Respawn has currently developed the Fallen Order 2, so they're making Fallen Order 2.
Oh, that was confirmed?
Yeah, EA confirms it will be
Ooh.
revealed. It will be revealed new games. It will reveal its new game sometime in 2022. Lucasfilm has confirmed that the EA has multiple
Ooh.
Star Wars projects in development. One of them being the Jedi, another one expected to be a Battlefront title. Damn,
Yo,
this
that's
shit
gonna be
goes.
lit.
This shit goes on and on. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get to the right. Okay. Another example of EA's big single player game on the horizon is Dragon Age 4. So that's a single player game. You remember how we were talking and you were like, well, is there proof? Well, there's
If
it.
if what?
Is there proof?
The what?
Is there proof of this?
Oh, is there proof of this?
So,
I said EA, man.
no, you
That
was
was
just
one of
like,
the
I want proof of
nigga, nigga. I literally said EA, bro. When you
this.
brought this shit up, I said EA, nigga.
La, la, la. No.
Go ahead,
La, la, la. So,
man.
la, la, la. So my instinct is to believe that as long as you are diverse in your portfolio, you would reap the benefits because you can have your cake and eat it as long as you maintain a budget. So you can EA gets the PR right of not releasing their games just monetization. How do you pronounce this shit?
Get the dick out of your mouth, man, and then you might be able to pronounce it.
Why you say it?
Monetization.
Monetization. That's why I'm adding an extra syllable for some reason.
Why are you
Monetization.
adding an L in there?
Monetization. So
Monetization.
monetization. So that being said, they get to have their cake and eat it too. They already known for being greedy ass bitches. But if they throw in some single player games, then they could have the argument like, hey, listen, we have our old model that works and everybody likes that. And we also have single player games as well. Sony is doing that shit in the reverse. They've been always doing single player games, and now they're trying to dip their toe
And
into
multiplayer.
multiplayer.
Hmm.
And sometime I believe in the future, I think as if we don't end the world with this COVID and wars, but I believe that what's going to happen is that co-op single player, or I'm sorry, co-op story driven games are going to be the way of the future, i.e.,
What
like Dying Light.
wasn't Dragon Age a cooperative multiplayer game as well? I never played it, man. I never played Dragon Age.
I think Dragon Age was supposed to be like a Monster Hunter slash like Witcher.
Mm. Yeah, see, I never really played Dragon Age, but I do remember because you mentioned about EA kind of seeing like the importance in making like episodic games. I do remember there were a couple of like a few years ago, Amy Hennig came out and she mentioned shorter games as well. That a lot of people don't tend not to finish their longer games. Um, and that I think I forgot how she worded it exactly, but she said something along the lines of she would kind of like to see like shorter games kind of come back, or she said something like questioning the length of games and stuff, which kind of could fall into that same vein, having shorter like more episodic games. It's funny because it seems like people are kind of doing similar things to that. And I remember Sean Layden actually came out and he mentioned that too, having shorter games as well. Um, Probably for cost reasons as well, man. Keep the cost down for the production, stuff like that. But
Um, Sean Layton, that's the thing, because
yo, what's good, Jemiah?
I think where is he? Is he in there? Is he here? Is he
Yeah,
here? Yo, what's
Let's see
good,
here.
Jemiah? With that fucking snap, yo, I'm trying to figure. I gotta zoom in on that icon. Yo, Jemiah, drop that link for me real quick. Yo, leave that in my DMs real quick.
I think it's a thumbs up, man, but I'm not sure.
He wants to report it. Yeah, I know he gonna say report it. Report it. Go on, Jemiah. You might as well just write it in there. Report it. Go on, put it in there. Oh, pause. Pause. Anyway, so um, what I believe, I don't think, because here's the thing. There are a lot of, and this is reported in blocks.
Reported and blocked.
Here's the thing, right? When it comes to single player games, right? Open world games is what I believe. You know, there are there is AI that helps with the development of open world games. It is designed for them to drop like 30 different AIs in different directions and have it like explore the environment to see if there's any kind of like holes in the environment or places where the character gets stuck in and stuff like that. So they put it and it has all the moveset of the main character. And that allows them to understand how a game is supposed to flow. Also, they have procedurally generated things like grass and etc. Right? Um, they're looking in technologies to kind of build where houses are supposed to be. I think Ghost of Tsushima does it. Low key, those little camps that you burn up. I believe
Yeah,
they're random. So these emergent gameplay things helps out the development cycle. You want to know, since Jemiah is in here, right? The reason why a lot of Cyberpunk didn't work is because you couldn't really curate a.
you just had to bring it up, huh?
No, for real. No, I'm being serious. I'm not being a fan. I'm not being an ass. But since the environment is unique and they didn't use any kind of procedurally generated, algorithms to make the environment, you can't. You know what I mean? There's one thing to put trees in a certain arrangement, right? In a random way. It's another thing to have an actual block that you have to create. And then you have to make sure that it runs within memory. You know what I'm saying? Because when you have procedurally generated things, it's going to be like, okay, what can I do in this area so the game won't crash? You know what I mean? And it can randomly generate trees and shit like that. Like it has a terrain there, it can randomly generate trees within those parameters. You can't do that when you have a map, you know? All that needs to be curated by a person. You know what I'm saying? So I'm sure technology will get bigger. My point is, it's easy. It's starting to get easier to make single player games. Put it that way. That's my whole point. It's starting to get easier to make single player games.
I see. Okay.
Because you have help from AI, which Jemiah loves his AI and his DLSS or whatever the fuck it is. Um,
But I do think that you're onto something, man. As far as like single player games kind of like trending more and more. Um I mean, it is kind of hard to say for sure because really if you want to use EA as an example, you know, and or Sony, um you got to also remember that EA was going through a lot of what you call it, lawsuits recently, you know. So,
it's good PR.
I mean, huh?
It's a good PR.
You could also make the argument that, yeah, basically, yeah, essentially, the fact that they're trying to create like more single player games would generate better PR for them as a company. You know what I mean? Because they've had multiple lawsuits, if not still more, going on right now. For egregiously implementing microtransactions in their games. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there could be that, but I definitely think that there is sort of an emergence of people kind of like appreciating more single player games nowadays. Um, to be honest with you, man, I think a lot of that comes from Sony specifically. You know, because I believe it was pretty much the beginning of the last generation. There were a lot of people who were kind of like speculating, you know, well, one, that consoles were going to be gone in general, you know, but even Phil Spencer came out and said that, he believes that single player games, like, they're good when they're good, but they're like niche, you know what I'm saying? Which they are when you really look at like the whole scheme of everything. But I think Sony has proven that that single player games can be successful, man. Even nowadays, like when it's predominantly like dominated by multiplayer games. You know, I think people still are starting to see more like the importance of having that. You know what I'm saying?
At least as a
So
mixture, at least as an absolute mixture of things. You definitely don't want to have a stagnating portfolio. But the question is, how big of a budget? Because we do know, even though this is a PlayStation centric channel, Microsoft doesn't know what they're doing when it comes to this. Um, they just released one of their biggest games without multiplayer. I mean, without single player
like without the campaign, yeah,
at all.
I was surprised to find out about that. To be honest, I was like, "Yo, really,
Like not
really?"
even not even the first episode of this. You're like, how small is this going to be? What is it going to be, like an hour, 2 hours? You know what I'm saying? Like, how is it going to be? And how much are you going to charge for it? So here's the thing. There's a couple of different reasons why I don't agree with what Amy Henning said about the games being shorter, or Sean Layton. The games are $70. And with the games being $70, now they kind of understand that people will play. Well, they will pay for $70. They will pay it. They'll pay it so long as the quality is there. If they feel like it isn't worth it, then they will not. A lot of that has something to do with advertisement and hype, other things, because Metacritic isn't like a good rubric. But would you pay $70 for Psychonauts 2?
I wouldn't. Personally, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't think it's worth it personally, but um,
Jemiah, they
and
say that they not going to fucking have any single player in there, just a multiplayer.
but then again, man, you do have to. I mean, when you ask things like that, it is subjective. You know what I mean?
No, well,
So
I was looking at this one podcast, which I should not name this person, and it's not even a gaming related podcast. Um, but millennials have a uncanny ability to believe that we're in a world that doesn't have any standards and thinks that everything is subjective. There is a standard for games. It's unspoken, you know, but nonetheless, there's a standard. You can't just sit there and say that, oh, it's subjective. People are not going to pay $70 for Cuphead.
no, I don't think so.
I don't matter how good the game is, or Hades. No. Why? Because the quality isn't there.
I
It's
mean,
not.
if you ask me, generally speaking, to answer your question, would I pay $70 for Psychonauts? No, I wouldn't personally. I don't think it's worth it. You know,
Most people wouldn't
and I
though.
yeah, and I was gonna say that I do believe that most people more than likely would not spend $70 for the game. So you could say that as well. But then again, value is subjective.
Are there outliers? Of course.
Yeah, yeah. But I do generally believe that, yeah, most people more than likely wouldn't spend $70 on Psychonauts. I
Yeah.
mean, I
I
just
mean, let's just like again, someone out there for females, they think that Jay-Z is hot. Someone out there thinks that what's that girl from Precious?
ain't no love
That girl from
in
Precious. Somebody
harder than
somebody out there thinks she's hot
you.
too. Oh
You
man, that's
do.
a lot of woman. Shut your ass
Yes,
up.
you talk about her all the time.
Don't.
Oh my, oh my God.
Yo, I do, yo. I was watching some adult content with her in it. I'm gonna send
And
all that
that
shit. I'm gonna send all that shit to Jemiah. He's gonna
Yo,
love it.
imagine all the different ways she could sit on my face.
Like some
Ain't no love in the heart of the city.
sorry, I was just looking at this one little girl. She had hives from COVID. Anyway, so that's how I look at things, right? Where single players are going to go, and more people are going to do some more single player games. Yeah, probably throw in one or two. You know what I mean? To spice it up a little bit. Activision is probably going to do some single player games just for sheer PR. You know what I'm saying? So they can diversify instead of having, I don't know, battle royale type games. You know what I'm saying? Or instead of them having whatever game that they have, they're going to diversify and do it that
I mean,
way.
I definitely think that they're definitely starting to see more and more that there's still a market for it, like a big market, like a like bigger than what they originally thought. You know what I'm saying? Um, especially being that they're predominantly multiplayer based companies. So, um, I mean, I still think that predominantly like the multiplayer is probably still going to dominate, but that's not really the conversation. It's really more if we're going to see more and more single player games um, as a result of some of these things. You know what I mean? So,
I think it's happening. I think it will happen. Mark my words. This is more of a speculatory topic.
I mean, I think so too, man. To be honest with you, I mean, look at like I don't know. I mean, EA. I think EA is a pretty good example. Given Star Wars, um, as well as what you call it, um, Dead Space. You know, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see, man, because it's kind of hard to say if they're just doing that, just to get positive PR because of the stuff that they've been doing recently with the microtransactions, or if it's actually. I mean, you did say that there was information like them trending towards like more single player games. So I don't know. It might just be like a double edged kind of thing, man. Kill two birds with one stone, but for sure.
But yeah, I really don't have anything else to add to this situation. I'm glad that we were able to make it a real topic. You know what I mean? For 30 minutes, I'm pretty shocked. Luckily, I had that in the bag though. That EA situation. I always come prepared. You know what I'm saying? Making sure. And it's bits.
Gotta stop dragging my nuts on the floor.
What was that one story from
Yeah.
Emily loves the squirrel's nuts. I was like, what the
She
fuck?
she tried to fit his nut in her mouth.
The nut leaked and it was all gooey. I said, all right, bitch.
Dude, what else did they say? They said, and she busted a nut. Yeah, that's the part that got me, yo.
I was like, all right, you doing too much, lady.
She busted a nut.
I'm gonna have to leave that shit in Discord. You guys, yo,
Shameless plug, by the way.
shameless, but you want to go ahead and plug that shit while I put it in Discord?
Yeah, man. So
Get
for
a
all of
beat.
you who are not part of the Discord already, um, you should be able to join either through the YouTube banner. You can click the Discord and you can jump in. We have a link there. Or what you could do is you can follow us on our Twitter, which the handle is Culture of PS. Or you could just type in PlayStation Culture and you should pull it up. We have our Discord link up there as well. By the way, if you go there, make sure you follow us as well. We do a lot of obviously PlayStation related content. And as far as the Discord, we're always in there making stupid jokes and stuff. So inside
Point,
jokes and whatnot.
point in case.
His nutsack was so big
You can't hear
that
it.
it would drag on the ground
No?
everywhere he went.
Hold on, do it again. Nah, I can't hear it, man. You might have to
He had
turn
a
off the
friend named
noise.
Sarah who loved nuts. Sarah would go around town trying to put everyone's nuts in her mouth.
Did you hear that?
She would try to put everybody's nuts in her mouth.
Pretty sure I don't know that
Oh
was a
man.
children's book. So if you want to go ahead and get that on Discord, it's in
Yes.
it's in a nice safe
Drop
for work.
drop the link in the Discord, baby. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that's pretty much it, man. I don't have anything else to say. I don't know if you do.
Yo, King, get out of here with that fall shit, yo. I don't play that mook shit.
Yo, fall season is approaching, bruh.
That dude is enamored with fall, yo. That shit's an ugly season, yo.
Why? Because you don't like diversity? You don't like the diversity of colors, Josh? Is that what it is?
No, I'm just fucking don't like my shit shriveling up. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate it. And we are out for the week. We already did our punks and everything like that. I'm a little weird. Well, at least for me, I'm a little bit like discombobulated because of this fucking. I can't stand OBS, y'all. I
Yes.
fucking hate it.
Yeah.
So
Yo,
annoying.
Retro said blocked.
So what everybody blocking me. Leave me alone. Anyway, guys, you guys take care. Have yourself a great night.
You guys have a good one. Peace out.